wanted to know if somebody asked you what it means to be living independently, how would you respond to that?
Typically what I tell people is that to me, living independently is living in your own home in the community. But beyond that, because a lot of people think, well, if you're living independently, then, you know, you don't rely on anybody or anything like that. But I remember a very early on training in independent living that I attended a lot of years ago. And I remember actually it was Gina McDonald who was doing the training, and she said, when you think about it, no one in life lives their life truly independent without anyone's help. Everyone relies on people. You know, we rely on our spouses, we rely on our children, we rely on our employer, our coworkers, you know. So everyone relies on people in their lives. So just because some people with disabilities rely on people with, you know, personal care attendants or whoever, a support system, makes it no different than other people. But, you know, other people don't see it that way, obviously. So, so when I say, you know, people can live independently, to me, it's about just like anyone else, living in your own home with whatever supports you need, whether it's your spouse, your children, your attendant, your, you know, employer, whoever, and living your life.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great way to look at it, and a great explanation for people that it might be a new concept to.
Yeah.
So, what is how would you describe to somebody what it means to live with long-term care services and supports, and live independently?
Gosh, I've been doing it for so long. It's like, so how do I feel about it, or how do I describe that? Okay. Well, and I was lucky enough to be actually the first program created in Kansas for in-home services for people with physical disabilities came about in 1982. Actually, it's just coincidentally the year I moved out into my own apartment for the very first time in 1982. We discovered a new program had just started, and it was called the non-medical attendant program, non-medical attendant care program, and it was like 220 or 240 slots, something like that. You know, we were slots back then. So, and I was lucky enough to get on that program, which, because of that gave me so much ability to live independently, not only live in my own apartment, but it gave me the ability to go to college, get my degree, become employed, get married, you know. I mean, it really, with the long-term services and supports, to me, it just opens the door for people to be able to live their life like anybody else. And to me, it puts it in their hands on what they want to do. Obviously, a lot of things come into play with that, depending on what the state's doing and the incentives and disincentives when it comes to work. But and I think we still have a long ways to go in that area. But that's, I mean, that's what long-term services and supports to me do, is they create that ability for many of us that rely on, you know, personal care assistance to be able to live independently and to be able to live our life like anyone else does.
That's amazing. I had no idea that was the beginnings and that you were one of the first. That's incredible.
I was very lucky. Yeah.
No wonder you have so much expertise in this area.
I've been pretty fortunate. So. Yeah.
So what are some of the kinds of long-term services and supports that are available to people in Kansas?
Well, so you have the various waiver programs, all the different HCBS waivers, you know, which is kind of categorized to disability or an age. That's how they break them up. With the physical disability waiver, the frail elderly waiver, intellectual IDD, all the different waivers. And then of course the Senior Care Act. So, there are different programs, and then the Working Healthy the work program specifically, which is the Medicaid buy-in program. So that's the program where people can go to work and still keep their Social Security check and their Medicaid up to a certain income, and then at a certain point, well, if you're on, you be on Medicaid, and then you stay on Medicaid while you're working, and when you get to a certain level of income, you'll start paying a premium in, just like you would an insurance premium. And then at a certain amount, I think it's like close to 50, I think you can make up to like 50,000 on there before you have to go off the program even. And you can also have like $15,000 in resources. So it's a good program to get people going and into employment. Unfortunately, it doesn't get utilized enough, I don't